Hello again. I am Chet Udell, and I'm going to briefly show you how to extend MaxMSP to speak directly with the eMotion digital data workstation. And this is something I call Max modules. And so let's go ahead and get started with that. Again, in the eMotion digital data workstation, go ahead and open that up. You will recall that there is a output menu where you can send all of your data tracks to a certain destination. And what the Max modules will enable you to do is to populate that list with particular destinations that you want to communicate with MaxMSP, and then have all of those destinations saved in the digital data workstation for the next time you use it. And there's all kinds of pros and cons for using this versus using the open sound control feature. I personally like using modules in MaxMSP because it lets me see all of the menus right on the front end of all those data tracks. That way I don't have to dig in and arbitrarily look at different port numbers and or open up and see what my labels were on the open sound control messages. So just a matter of convenience. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on my fuse. I'm just going to go ahead and turn on one emote. That's going to be the twist. And it's just going to take a brief moment for it to pop up here, and it does. Once I do that, I'm going to calibrate. Okay. And we're just going to let this calibrate here. Now, once that calibrates, we'll be able to use the data. But before I click on the stop sign hand, let's go ahead and go back to, in your eMotion software folder, you should see another folder inside of that called demos. Go ahead and click on that, and I want you to open up the Make Max Modules demo, and that should open in MaxMSP. And here we go. Now, what this has, this Max patch has something magical called Receiver OSC, and then a / and some name that you want to populate in your list. Connected to the rightmost inlet, you have a UDP receive 7475, and this is very important because the digital data workstation sends all open sound control messages meant specifically for the Max application on this port. There was no convention behind this, it was arbitrary. I just decided to choose this as the port that this object uses. So Receiver OSC is actually an abstraction. And if you're really interested in just the guts, the abstraction is this object right here. Please note that anytime you want to use a module, that the Receiver OSC object can be called up as an abstraction, and you will want to place this in your Max folder, Cycling 74 folder, as an external. Alright, actually you want to place all of these as externals in your Cycling 74 folder, or in the root directory folder of your project. In this case, this is my project, and all these files are here, so it's totally cool. Alright, now I'm going to change this to be my name, or your name. How about... my dog's name is Ember. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. It's cute. And I just thought of that spur of the moment. And now I'm going to go back to my workstation. I'm going to go ahead and click the stop sign to start my session. Oh, and it crashed, which is not uncommon. So let's go ahead and start up that digital data workstation again. And just for good measure, I'm going to go ahead and do this as well. I'm going to click this red button. It's going to say Restore Default Settings. Basically, that flushes out all my old data tracks because I might have a strange setting on there somewhere. I'm going to turn on my fuse and make sure my twist is there. I'm going to go ahead and calibrate that. That's no big deal. And now click that stop sign again. And yes, I get my single data track. It's telling me to wait. And bam. Now, I can select my twist. I can select anything in here. I'm going to go ahead and, why not do the Euler, Y axis here. and that'll make a lot more sense when it's calibrated. And my Euler y is straight up, so I get, these values here. And if I want to process that, I can click on that button. And so I basically can swap the phase of these. You'll learn all about this in the twist tutorial. But for now, just know I got data sort of chilling out here. And then I want you to notice that this populates directly in this list. And when I go back to MaxMSP, bam, notice how I have that there. Now let's say I want to label this data just like in Open Sound Control. That's perfectly fine. I'll just go to Process and change my label to something called, my dog, right? Because my dog is now you'll see in Max I'll have a little prefix called my dog and the data. And if I want to unroute, this is actually useful, right? Because now I can do UTE, my dog, mind the capital, and I'll also do my cat, which I have no cat, but I'm just going to do that anyways. I'm going to put in the data here. Now I'm going to put in a couple float boxes so you can see how I'm routing all this data. And this is pretty jumpy because I'm running QuickTime recording the video, but it wouldn't be jumpy if I wasn't recording video. So now I'm going to do a second track. I'm going to send this to Ember, and I'm going to use a prefix or a label called my cat, and you'll see. So I'm going to create a new track here. Twist 0 is the only thing I have on there. I'm going to do Euler Z. Why not, right? Okay, and I have all of my data there. And Euler Z simply refers to going around and around. This is my orientation toward the viewer. So as you can see, as I'm rotating around, I get this wave, and I can invert, I can change the phase, all that fun stuff. So now I'm going to send this to Ember 2. And I'm going to do my cat. And I hope this makes sense. Here. So I have my dog and my cat. My cat is when I'm twisting as if I were looking towards the viewer. And my dog is as if I were looking up and down. I have no idea why I decided to select those things. Now here's where I can keep moving on with the module idea. I'm going to do yo-yo. This is important. You have to connect the UDP receive to that right inlet, otherwise it's not going to work. And I'm also going to just put a message box here so you can see any output. Let's say I want to change my destination of my second track to yo-yo. Well, notice how I have Ember, but I don't have yo-yo. Now that's an issue, right? Receiver OSC yo-yo. Now what happened here? Well, basically, let's go ahead and refresh the tracks. Here's a secret. When you click on this icon, it should theoretically refresh all of these tracks here, and now you should see yo-yo. Very nice. It's a secret button. I'm not an interface designer. I just thought it was functionally useful and kind of cool that it was hidden, so now you know it's here. Yeah, but now you see my cat going into yo-yo, and I don't know. In Word, because I'm really just into this thing here now. Here, go ahead and send this over. So instead of Ember, yo-yo, we now have Word. And click on the logo. Should refresh your list. Word. And now go ahead and my dog and my cat are now on two different tracks here. Ember is no longer working because I no longer have anything being sent out to Ember. Now, all you have to do is, if you want to keep this moving, if you want to save your settings, you really only need to close or quit the digital data workstation, which I'll do now. Quit the DDW. notice how these modules are still open. So the next thing I'm going to do is next time you open up your digital data workstation, make sure your emotes are turned off. You want to turn on the fuse after you've selected your device, of course. Turn on the emote again, and it will pop up in the window. Go ahead and calibrate while you're waiting, and then click the stop sign. And theoretically, it's going to completely restore your last session. So I had 2 tracks, and see how it made 2 tracks for me. Now it's still thinking. Right, now it's ready. I have my twist Euler Y, twist Euler Z. It's going to word, it's going to yo-yo. And I got my data moving along here. It's percolating away, and even though you don't see it necessarily in the waveform, maybe that's because it's still calibrating. Let's see. Yeah, it was a little off when I it was setting not flat when I calibrated it, so just recalibrate it. But needless to say, if you go back to MaxMSP, my data would be percolating if my twist calibrated properly. So thanks for bearing with me. I'll count along. Bam. Okay, so now my data is percolating away. Go to MaxMSP, and yep, sure enough, my dog and my cat are both doing well. So that is how you would restore a session once you're finished. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. I hope you appreciated the tutorial. Have a good day.